Breaking news coming in. Rahul Gandhi shoots off a letter to Twitter CEO. Rahul writes on free speech concerns to Twitter. Rahul says, do not become a pawn in destruction of India. Rahul says, Twitter under pressure by the government to silence me. India Today has accessed Rahul's letter to Twitter. This is an explosive letter written by Rahul Gandhi to the CEO of Twitter. We're waiting for an update on how Twitter has responded to this letter by Rahul Gandhi. But Rahul in his letter going on to say that he has concerns on free speech and he says, do not become a pawn in the destruction of India. Twitter is under pressure by the government to silence me, unquote. India Today has accessed Rahul Gandhi's letter to Twitter. Let's also get you a reporter to bring you up to speed with the very latest on this particular story, with Rahul Gandhi shooting off this explosive letter to Twitter, writing on free speech concerns to Twitter. On your screens right now, you can see the highlight right there of the letter. The para which we are talking about has been highlighted on your screens for you to take a look. He says, do not be a pawn in the destruction of India, and Twitter is under pressure by the government to silence him, is what he says. He's written on free speech concerns to the Twitter CEO. He's shot off that letter and we'll get you a reaction from Twitter. In fact, we're getting a reaction from Twitter. Cutting straight across to the Twitter's first up reaction on Rahul Gandhi's letter. Twitter says zero tolerance for platform manipulation. Our numbers are meaningful and accurate. We remove accounts for violating our norms. That's the first up reaction coming in from Twitter on the letter that Rahul Gandhi has shot off to Twitter. Mohit Sharma is now getting us live. Mohit, we broke the story on Rahul Gandhi's letter to Twitter, and Twitter has now responded saying that they have a zero tolerance to platform manipulation and the numbers are meaningful and accurate. There is, I'm trying to understand on the back of what triggered this writing of the letter by Rahul Gandhi to Twitter at this point of time. We do know that he has raised these kind of concerns in the past as well. But at the moment, what triggered this particular letter?
Well, what we understand at this particular point is that this letter was written somewhere around December end, and was Rahul Gandhi, it seems, was very apprehensive of how his Twitter followers were not actually growing or had remained very stagnant ever since he had highlighted the rape case of a minor in around August or so, and that's precisely why he had taken to Twitter. He had also gone on to say that it seems that Twitter is being used to suppress the democracy, the voice of democracy here in India as well. However, you have this response from Twitter also coming in, wherein Twitter has gone on to say that there is absolutely no space for any kind of manipulation of accounts or followers when it comes to the social media platform. And it has also gone on to say that over the time frame of every year annually, Twitter goes on and verifies accounts as well. And so this could be because of that a lot of accounts that do follow Rahul Gandhi could be either under the scan or could also be being checked at this particular point. And since they have not responded, them following Rahul Gandhi is not being visible out there on his Twitter account. So that is the explanation that Twitter has gone on to give. More importantly, it has also said that if a person wants to go ahead and highlight or perhaps cross-check his follower base, they can always reach out to Twitter. But more importantly, if somebody wants to check whether his account is fully verified or all the account details have been taken into consideration, there's a mechanism for that as well on Twitter. And Twitter usually uses a captcha mode in order to ensure that, in order to differentiate a Twitter account from that of an individual and a bot. So clearly, the social media platform has come out and very clearly mentioned it that there is absolutely no manipulation going on here. But on the other hand, you have such a senior leader from the Congress party, Mr. Rahul Gandhi himself, coming out and clearly saying that while on one hand others followers seem to be growing at an exceptional or a regular rate, it seems that the growth of followers of his account have come down tremendously from
But here
several
he's
lakhs to about a
questioning
few
about
thousands, and
concerns
that's
on
the
free
problem.
speech more than the followers or the number of followers or manipulation of numbers of any kind. He has clearly said that don't be a pawn in destruction of India, which is a very strong statement to make.
Well, absolutely. We've seen previously how Twitter had reacted to Gandhi.
Can we re-establish that connection right there to Mohit, please? Mohit was bringing us all the very latest details on this story that we're tracking at the moment. Rahul Gandhi writing that explosive letter to Twitter, raising concerns of free speech, saying do not become a pawn in destruction of India. And Rahul also says that Twitter is under pressure by the government to silence him. This is a grave allegation coming in from Rahul Gandhi. Twitter has responded to Rahul Gandhi. They have reacted. We are bringing you the first up reaction as well, saying that they have zero tolerance towards platform manipulation and our numbers are meaningful and accurate. We remove accounts for violating our norms.